We're now going to take a look at another looping statement, and this one is the while loop. Now this differs from the do loop in that the while loop checks for a condition that we have defined within the while loop before it executes any code. All the statements between the while and end while statement will be repeated as long as the condition is met. As soon as the condition is untrue, the loop will terminate. Just as we did with the do loop, we also monitor the SYIndex field to see how many times the loop is executed. So let's get straight in and have a look at the code. Let's introduce a few blank lines. And what I'm going to do is just comment this out because we don't want all this do loop output onto the screen. And then we'll take a look at the syntax for the while. So it's quite straightforward. We have while, then we have a statement, which is our condition statement. So let's do that, condition statement. Then we have a block of code that we would execute. And then we end our end while loop with end while. Pretty straightforward. Looks quite similar to the do statement. So let's turn this into proper code. So we have our while statement and we would change this conditional statement to something proper. So we can say while a is not equal to 15. Let's copy this. Well, it's not equal to 15. We can output the value of a. Now at the moment, a will always be less than 15 because we are initializing a little higher up in the code. So what we need to do after we write out the value of a, to ensure we don't end up in an endless loop, we need to increment the value of a. So we'll just do the simple a equals a plus 1. Tidy our code up. Execute it. And we can step through the code. So we will monitor the value of a and also SYIndex. And as we step through the while loop, it will check the condition, and as we can see, the value of a is 0. So we write out the statement to the screen. Then a gets incremented, and the loop continues. And notice our SYIndex is incrementing just as it did when we took a look at the do statement. So I'll just keep my finger on the button here to step through until we get close to 15, which we're right at right now. So we'll do it end while, checks the condition, skips the statement block, and goes to the end of the loop. And then outputs everything to the screen. Now because a started with a value of 0, that was the first cycle. So the maximum value a reached when it was output on the screen was 14. So what we could have done, just to get 15, is just swap these statements around, just like that. So a gets incremented first. I'll press F8. There we go. So there we have the 15. It looks a little bit easier on the eye. So that's it, a very simple while loop.